All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussions, more of the retro pay-per-view review series. We're going over SummerSlam 1996. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into this, man. This was way, way, way better than SummerSlam 1995. I hope everybody watching this kind of agrees. If not, please comment and let us know why. August 18th, 1996, from the brand new Gund Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. They like to open the new stadium, especially at SummerSlam. At a couple of years ago, United Center, and now there's 17,000 fans, even on hand. I seriously doubt there were 17,000 people there. It looked a little light. But in any event, kicking off SummerSlam.
So this is the funny thing about this year and this SummerSlam. You have the prior pay-per-view, because I guess there wasn't in your house before this, right? But you had the King of the Ring 96, where Austin wins, cuts that great promo. Austin 316 is born. He's got all the momentum in the world. So you would think he would be on the actual card, but no. They put him in a free for all, aka dark match.
Not the Sunday Night Heat, but it was a free for all before the pay per view.
Yeah,
everybody got to see it.
They set the countdown before the pay per view.
Yeah,
you could watch it for free, the 30-minute pre-show, whatever it was. So you have him fight Yokozuna after he just won the King of the Ring in the pre-show. Like that's Austin's follow-up. So when you really think about it, you could say that Austin 316. People say, "Oh, this is what made Austin." I kind of feel like I don't want to get too sidetracked. It was really the feud with Bret Hart that really made Austin.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't really do much with him.
Not until Survivor Series.
Right. Until he feuds with Bret. So
because this is around the time he started getting on Bret Hart and cutting those vignettes on the storyline and getting at Bret. And this match was a joke, too. 1 minute, 52 seconds that Austin beat
Yokozuna, man. That goes to show you how far Yokozuna fell, too.
Seriously, man. And by this point, I still like him. Yeah, he's a little overweight, and by this point now with Vader there, they're transitioning him also to a fan favorite, which handed me a laugh because he can't speak English, but once he's a fan favorite, all of a sudden he's going off on that microphone.
He's got a beard and he speaks English.
I hate when he had the beard. That was pretty much it for him.
Yeah.
And then by this point he was literally, I think, 630 pounds.
Yeah, he wasn't in good shape at all. So
Austin squashes him in this match, which again would have even if you're going to do that to him, I would have rather it have been on the pay-per-view, because at least then you're showing everybody that you believe in your King of the Ring winner. And again, like you said, Austin cut this huge promo at the King of the Ring that everybody was getting behind now.
Yeah.
So this didn't make any sense. Again, it's that bad booking. Very bad booking. So in any event, our pay-per-view opens up with a WWE Tag Team, a Fatal 4-Way elimination match, or Four Corners elimination match, whatever you want to call it. It was the Smoking Guns defending the tag team titles with Sonny in their corner. Yep. At this point, who didn't have Sonny in their corner? Versus the New Rockers of Leif Cassidy and Marty Jannetty. And what have we said about that?
Anything with new or 2000 in front of the name or re-gimmick never works.
And I don't know about you, but I think Leif Cassidy was very high on cocaine.
When he came out, he was like jumping around.
He's trying to pull He's trying to be Marty Jannetty.
Right, but
Jannetty's trying to be Shawn Michaels.
Right, that's exactly what it was. And then Jannetty wasn't the same wrestler at that point either. He was a little older. He probably had injuries and stuff. Yeah, he just wasn't. You could tell Marty wasn't really even into it.
And then they make him a heel, which is even worse, because the Rockers were not a heel tag.
They still had their same music. It just didn't work. I'm like, why are they doing this? There's only one Rockers. There's only one Rockers. Leave it at.
And the other guy's in the main event. So leave it alone. Make another tag team. Get a new theme if you want to run with this. It just, new or 2000, goodbye. Then you had the Godwins, Henry and Phineas, managed by Hillbilly Jim.
Vince and his obsession with the guys in overalls.
Remember 1986? Uncle Elmer, Hillbilly Jim, and the rest of the farmers and the pig boys. I mean, he just loved it back then. We'll be getting into those on the Saturday Night Main Event review. They had their time there. And then you had the Body Donnas. Skip, Zip, and why the hell are we watching these two?
Didn't they have like a guy at one point dressed up as a girl on like one of the pay-per-views or one of the shows? At one
point, Sonny?
Yeah. Wasn't it like oh man, what was the name? So they not on this pay-per-view, but at some point in 96, they have Cloudy, who's like Jimmy Shoulders.
Yeah.
Who was he friends with?
He was friends with Skip or Chris Candido.
Yeah, Chris Candido,
from the ECW days.
It didn't last very long. It was like
it was just like a slap in the face because Sonny had left them.
And I think they had like a contest to like get them a new manager or something, and
he dressed up tried to dress up as Sonny, and then they called him Cloudy, and
didn't last.
It was funny. It was like I said, it was a smack in the face to Sonny, who throughout 1996 to 97. She was either the Body Donna's manager, or then she goes to the Smoking Guns, and then the Godwins will eventually win the tag titles, and she goes with them. Then she's with Legion of Doom in 1998. I mean, the girl got around.
We'll talk about that later.
At this same pay-per-view, she was Farouk's manager, which didn't make any sense.
Lord Jesus.
I did not like that gladiator gimmick whatsoever. We'll get to that. We'll touch base on that later.
Yeah,
But in this match, it was, this is 1996 is where the tag team division started getting a little better. Not saying it was an all-star like WCW at this point, but it was getting there. This match had a couple of funny moments, especially when I believe it was Phineas and Zip. They both tagged in the Smoking Guns during this match, and they were high-fiving each other. The only other thing I didn't understand was the Smoking Guns and the Rockers. If Leif Cassidy accidentally hit one of them, and all of a sudden they're acting like this is Survivor Series, and they're teaming together. And they're like, you're supposed to be on our side. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Why are we doing this? It's a fatal four-way match. Elimination at that. So, and this was the Smoking Guns turning heel, which after 3.5 years being there, it was about time. And the Smoking Guns win the match.
Yeah, they almost lost.
Yes, they did.
They almost lost.
I was kind of hoping they did. I knew the Rockers weren't going to get the titles. There's no way.
But the Godwins had a chance at that point.
Yes, they did. They weren't bad. I mean, the gimmick was a little cheesy with the pig farmers and whatnot, but especially with Henry Godwin. But when they brought in Phineas and they had the tag team, it was all right. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was all right.
I'm not saying they're the greatest tag team ever, but
no, they were okay. It's just the gimmick was stupid.
The Body Donnas was something I didn't like, especially when they re-gimmicked Tom Pritchard into Zip. I mean, by that point, it's just like, oh my God, come on. But in any event, 12 minutes, 18 seconds, Smoking Guns keep the tag team titles. So good for them.
And then remember, Sonny brings down her picture. She starts insulting the crowd and everything.
The female ravishing
yeah. And then she has that big picture of herself that she.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I don't know about you, but back in the day, we all wanted Sonny.
Yeah, everybody loved Sonny.
Now
she was a beautiful girl.
Everybody wants Sonny to just go away.
Yeah, seriously. Jesus.
Our next match was Psycho Sid versus the British Bulldog, and to me, he was a little too hyper in this match. With the fans jumping around, doing the hand thing. He was making me nervous a little bit.
I mean, I think Sid was just coming to his own as a babyface now. He's making that transition. So I think maybe he was just trying a little bit too hard.
Yeah, did you hear the crowd roar?
Yeah, but he cut a good promo before that too. And then the crowd was really behind him. He was over.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He still was getting those big pops. Mm-hmm. And this was a pretty good match for him. So British Bulldog is at ringside minus Jim Cornette. Mm-hmm. Jim Cornette was in Vader's locker room for the main event. So Clarence Mason comes down, and Clarence Mason was playing the lawyer for Jim Cornette. And I guess at this point, it looks like he's trying to steal his clients. So now Jim Cornette comes down, getting into Clarence Mason's face, and it actually cost Bulldog the match because Bulldog did get the power slam on Sid. Mm-hmm. And then they do this whole thing, and then Sid gets up, power bombs Bulldog, and gets the victory. Mm-hmm. So finally, he's on the winning track because prior to this, he was losing pay-per-view matches again. So 6 minutes, 24 seconds, Psycho Sid gets the victory and the momentum for later on in the year. Now, before I get to the next match, let me rewind a little bit because I did make an error, and my apologies to everybody watching this who thought that when I said the opening match was the tag team match, I forgot one. The opening match for this pay-per-view was actually Savio Vega versus Owen Hart. Again, minus Jim Cornette at ringside and Owen Hart with his 6-month cast on his wrist here. Now, Mason at ringside or whatever, it was not really a distraction for Savio, but Owen gets the victory against Savio. Clarence Mason is, trying to raise his hand and, claiming he's hurt. It was a little ridiculous, a little cheesy.
I didn't understand what the hell he was doing. I thought it was stupid. Like, he's trying to take his clients.
Yeah, by the time Bulldog came out without Cornette and then Mason shows up, it was pretty clear that he was trolling his like, if you're not going to be here for them, then I will be.
And he was supposed to be like Johnny Cochran.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know why Jim Cornette wasn't at ringside anyway, because I mean, back in the day, if Bobby Heenan had somebody in the main event, he was at ringside for some of his other guys. It just didn't make any sense. So my apologies for skipping around on these matches. Savio and Owen Hart was the opener.
These guys were just stealing money, man. Some of these guys like Clarence Mason were just stealing money. Just like this guy, what's his face? Harvey Wimpleman. I don't remember which match it is, but he's a referee in one of these matches.
Yes, he is.
And I'm like, what the? I'm like, is that Harvey Wimpleman? And then I remembered that
he was the referee, I believe, in the Lawler match.
There you go. He was a referee in that match. He's another guy that was stealing a paycheck. I don't know what they were.
They didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
So he goes from being a manager to a referee now, and I'm like, really?
I don't know. No.
And he didn't last long anyway.
No.
So in any event, again, my apologies for skipping around like that. It wasn't too memorable for me to remember the opening match, which is unfortunate because
the match was actually all right. It was okay because the Savio Vega was a decent wrestler. He had some high flying like karate moves and stuff, and Owen, they complemented each other well. So I thought there was no real build up and
by this point, both of them were actually losing stock to where they were a year prior.
Wasting Owen in the opening match and an opening match that's like more of a mid card position. But I thought
and give credit to Savio, man. I mean, that guy could have been more than what he was with them.
Yeah, the match was okay.
It was okay, and Owen gets the victory. So moving past on the next from the Psycho Sid British Bulldog match, we get Marvelous Mark Merrow, the Wild Man versus Goldust. Now, I like this match because during the build-up of this included Mankind coming out and asking Sable, mommy, mommy.
That was creepy, man. That was really creepy.
It was, and she was freaked out about it.
Right.
And of course, my son's watching it the other night with me, and the first thing he says was, "Oh, Brock Lesnar's going to be pissed." And I'm like, "Dude, a little too soon." Right now, she's with Merrow, not Lesnar.
Yeah.
Don't jump the gun. And this was her getting out of the spotlight of being the valet to Triple H.
Yeah.
I love how all of a sudden she goes from wearing these huge gowns and trying to be Elizabeth to being this all-star wrestler overnight. It was just amazing how they did the transition there. But, Mankind doing that kind of added to this match. And again, he came out during SummerSlam, comes out of the boiler room, and I'm like, why are they doing this when he's got a match later on? And he comes back out, and she's screaming, "Oh, my God, Mark." And, of course, Goldust doesn't help either during this. The only thing I didn't like about this match that took away was he showed off his finishing move, the Wild thing, which was the shooting star press, and that wasn't the end of the match. He kicks out from it. Why would you show off the move and not have
I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
Especially when now that the Intercontinental title is going to be vacant, these are your two guys that you're looking at to become the Intercontinental Champion again.
Right.
And Mark Merrow just had the better look at this. That I just think, okay, you had him lose this to Goldust. You just not ruined him, but you tarnished him a little bit. I mean, he came out hot in this match. And I always think they went wrong with him. I mean, he started off hot as Wild Man Mark Merrow. It could have turned into something. Instead, they turned him later on into a boxer, which by that point was washed up. So, and then you got Goldust hitting on Sable again, and she's screaming for Mark and all this nonsense. And it was funny though. Again, with Mankind coming out, but
no, that was good.
She's screaming and whatnot. 11 minutes, 1 second match. It wasn't too bad. I just think the decision should have been the other way. I think Merrow should have gotten the victory.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then, of course, Perfect's throwing cheap shots on the microphone to Merrow this whole time. And I'm like, yeah, I know where you're going with this. In any event, to the next match, which was just garbage. It was Jake the Snake Roberts versus Jerry Lawler. I don't understand. Okay, in Vince's warped idea, using his whole alcoholism into this match, it doesn't make any sense to me. Lawler spent more time on the microphone in the ring than this match actually took place. And unfortunately, this wasn't the one that Jake Roberts pretended to be drunk. Because you remember they did have a match where he's coming down all tipsy and stuff. think that was later on after SummerSlam.
When does he pour the liquor down his
after the match?
Yeah, and then I don't believe a lot of what Jake says. So Jake says that Bruce Pritchard that it was real liquor. Bruce Pritchard and somebody else said it was iced tea, which I believe. Jake said
why would they? Because it was the same thing that they did CM Punk Jericho years later, and it was iced tea.
Yeah, Jake said that it was real liquor and that it burned him. It burned his throat. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
If it was real liquor, he would have been like, "No thanks, give me the bottle. I got this. I'll show you how we do it." You kidding me? He would have had the second bottle.
I'm not buying it, but this was
They wouldn't use real alcohol in this anyway.
No, this was a stinker. This was a stinker.
It truly was. I mean, this was garbage. This was down. They don't know what direction to go in with Jake Roberts. Jerry Lawler's fighting all these future Hall of Famers this year, and it's just.
And Jake looked like shit.
Well, Jake looked like shit when he came back. The fact that he had to wear that.
And I like Jake. Don't get me wrong.
It wasn't a button-down shirt. It was a clip-on shirt.
Don't get me wrong. I like Jake, but Jake looked like shit.
I like Jake up till 1992 Jake.
Right, that was it.
1996 Jake, 30 pounds overweight.
And then they made him a Christian, which I don't think you should play around with religion, man. I don't.
Not in a storyline, no.
Like, I mean, I don't know.
ECW knows a thing about that.
So, but whatever. Anyway,
it was a 4-minute 7-second match, and Lawler gets the victory.
Right.
What the hell is this? Anybody but Lawler. Lawler Roberts could have been involved in SummerSlam with. Anybody. They could have had a King of the Ring rematch and put Austin on the card, even if Jake still does get the loss.
They should have. They could have actually had an actual match instead of just a squash match. Yeah,
exactly.
They could have done that.
By that point, at King of the Ring, Jake couldn't even wrestle.
Yeah, they could have done that.
This match went longer than that.
Right. So,
but in any event, it was what it was, and Lawler gets the victory. Why, I don't know. Keep this man off the damn pay-per-views. So following this match, they started talking about how Ahmed Johnson had to have emergency surgery on his kidney due to an attack from Farouk.
Mm-hmm.
And even when he ignored the doctors and participated in that number one contenders battle royal, where he won a WWE title opportunity.
And he almost fell out of the ring too.
I love that how he throws.
That wasn't on purpose. You could tell. He's like holding on, like, oh shit.
He slipped and he did everything in his power to get back in there.
Yep, he held on with everything.
Imagine if he fell out.
He was going over, man. He was going right over.
He all you see is legs and ass swinging there.
And he's holding on.
And for however he did it, he gets back in the ring.
Yeah. Oh, that was great.
It was. I remember.
Yeah.
Besides seeing that on the replay, I remember that from Raw.
He almost. Could you imagine? And he was supposed to win, and he went right over. That was hilarious.
Imagine if he would have hit the ground before Goldust did.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
if he would have
then Vince would be like, God damn, I got to get Goldust.
I think it was live. It might have been. I'm not sure.
Probably was.
Was Raw? Raw was taped back then, right? They weren't.
For the most part, they were. Occasionally, they went.
So maybe they would have reshot it. I don't know, but
or pull a Saturday Night Main Event. It never existed.
Yeah. Look, I liked Ahmed, but he wasn't the most coordinated. He wasn't the most coordinated guy, man.
No, but he had the look.
There was times where he would almost kill himself or kill somebody.
I think he was overly excited and overly hyped and pumped in the match that he would get himself in trouble. But he had the mic skills. He had everything.
Well, I don't know if he didn't have the mic skills. I'll tell you what it was. He was bad on the mic, but when he said stuff, you actually believed it because he was an intimidating guy. So even if he was just like, rah, 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 he sounded like he had marbles in his mouth too sometimes. But
especially when they interviewed him here, you could he was mumbling a little bit.
Yeah, but he was believable because he had that look and he had a presence. You can't take that away from the guy. And I was an Ahmed Johnson fan. I loved Ahmed Johnson. Because he reminded me kind of like, I don't want to, be blasphemous, but he kind of reminded me a little of like a warrior type, like a unstoppable, like just strong badass. And so
you could have labeled him as the next big thing because
he was on it.
Starting in '95 by SummerSlam.
He was on his way. His way.
You saw somebody that could very well be running the company with the WWE title.
Mm-hmm. He was on his way.
And I think that was their plan.
Yeah.
But just
Farouk.
Two things stopped that: the injuries and this 2-year garbage feud with the Nation.
Yeah, but getting into what happened, Farouk kicked him for real.
Yes.
That's what happened. He actually legit. I'm sure it wasn't on purpose, but
No,
I guess it was Farouk's debut when they put that stupid helmet on his head instead of calling
modern
him.
day gladiator.
Yeah, instead of calling him Ron Simmons, they put the stupid helmet on his head. Yeah, he comes out
the gladiator music. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
He attacks Ahmed. I guess was it on the Superstars or a Raw?
Raw.
It was a Raw. Okay, so he kicks him for real, and he ended up having something like punctured kidney or some. There was some. It was bad. Whatever it was actually a legitimate injury. I'm curious. He was going to get that match. He was the number one contender for the title. I'm curious. Was he going to fight Shawn Michaels the next night on Raw?
Yeah. And then going forward,
I don't think he was going to win. Probably would have been like a crazy finish, double DQ, run in. I would assume he wasn't going.
Yeah, probably with Camp Cornette.
Yeah, but they had plans for him.
Yes,
they actually had plans for him. But
and then it got sidetracked, and instead of getting that title shot that he won, they just totally ignored, because he could have gotten it when he got back. Just because he wasn't there at that point, he earned the right to face the champion, and they just totally were oblivious.
We got to do an Ahmed. We got to do an Ahmed episode because there's a lot to get into.
I can do an Ahmed video, no problem.
Maybe so.
Down the line, definitely we can do one.
Yeah. So Sonny comes out with Farouk, and they explained the whole thing, and I didn't know what she was doing with him.
I don't know why they paired him with her to begin with.
I had no idea. It didn't fit.
Luckily, this gimmick didn't last too long, and they wound up then starting up the Nation of Domination. Well, the first part of the Nation of Domination was garbage because you had all these non-wrestlers. You had PG-13 in there with rapping the song, which wasn't that bad. But then you had Crush and Savio, which I'm like, what the hell are they doing in there?
So
when he got the Nation together, when it was D'Lo and Godfather and Mark Henry, he didn't want in there. But then The Rock, it started, the Nation took off, and I liked it. Just that whole Ahmed 2-year feud just was ridiculous. But anyway, he goes off, he was going off on him, and he's like, I should be the next Intercontinental Champion. The belt should just be handed to me. Why, I don't know. But he winds up going into that tournament eventually as well. And so, unfortunately, now I like what Ahmed said. He goes, I understand this is the People's Intercontinental title, and how he referred to it and whatnot. He cut a good promo, despite the fact that he's injured. He cut a good promo going, I understand all of this, but what going forward after that, it's like they didn't do anything with him. No. It's like after this injury, Vince just lost faith in him, and I don't know why. He still had it even when he came back.
I liked Ahmed, man. Like I said,
I really did. I thought
we're doing an Ahmed episode. You guys heard it here first. It's coming. We got to figure it out.
I don't know when, but we will do it. I've said
no Adam Bomb, but we're gonna do Ahmed Johnson.
Shut up. You should have said no Jeff Jarrett.
Well, that's a given.
And I've said repeatedly, anybody wants an episode of something, let me know, and I will get it in the works. The only one person that said they want a Hulk Hogan video, I am working on it. So that's coming. Maybe Ahmed before him. In any event, let's go to our next match. A first in the WWE, a boiler room match between The Undertaker and Mankind.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I remember when they announced the boiler room match, and I thought this match was going to be the shits. I thought it was going to be trash. I'll tell you why. I just thought about my boiler room, and I'm like, why would I want to see a match with two guys? Because I'm envisioning my boiler room in the building that I lived in.
Yeah.
So I thought this match was going to be horrible. But what we got, I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool.
Yes, it was. I like the stipulation that the winner had to get in the ring and get the urn, which had me thinking when the outcome. I really thought at first, I'm like, it's not going to be that easy. Mankind. If Paul Bearer is going to give Mankind the urn if he wins, I knew something was up. I just put it that way, and it's unfortunate that it happened because I didn't want to see the two of them break up.
They filmed this. They filmed the whole that part of it the day before.
The boiler room?
Yeah, they filmed the whole boiler room thing the day before, just in case there was any hiccups.
Yeah, they could go back in like they did with the AJ Taker match. They kind of did it a week prior in case there was any mess ups. This is almost not. I wouldn't say a cinematic match, but it was a start, something like that. Because you remember they put the TVs out for everybody to see. Did anybody see them put the tape in the VCR?
They had the
just ignore that.
That just reminded me of when you have a substitute teacher or something like that, and they're
They
like,
put
"Oh,
a
we're gonna watch a
movie,
movie today." Yeah, and you bring out the.
and it was that typical big
That's what it
box
was.
TV on the rolling thing. Yeah,
They had it. They had it on the big screen too, but I guess for the people that were
in the
like
front row.
kind of close, they couldn't
Yeah.
look up and see, so they had the TVs there. It looked kind of ridiculous because then when they got out, the TVs are still there.
Mhm.
So, but anyway,
The one thing I will say, the best feud for either man in their careers was against each other. They brought out the absolute best of each other, and there's no wonder why 2 years later they rekindled the rivalry at the King of the Ring. These two, Mankind brought out the evil in the Undertaker because if you notice how more aggressive he was after this,
yeah. And you know what? When Mankind, I didn't like Mankind when he first came in. Like,
I thought it was another trashy gimmick for a WCW guy that wasn't going to last.
I thought it was a garbage gimmick, a one-off.
Yeah.
Not for nothing. Listen, no disrespect to Mick Foley, but he looked like shit.
I think that was the idea.
So I was like,
I was just the idea.
And he kept messing with the Undertaker, and I'm like, I just want the Undertaker to beat this guy's ass already and get him the hell out of here already, because he kept messing with him.
But that's the problem.
You know,
Taker couldn't beat this guy.
But oh man, it was well done, and credit to Mick Foley, man. Credit to Mick Foley. He cut these great promos, you know, and leading into it, and it really came off well. I just remember early Mankind when he was fighting, he was squealing like a pig, man. Remember that? Like he stopped doing that.
Match?
Yeah, he's like, yeah. I was like, what? It's like he sounds like
oh my god,
wild boar or something. Yeah, but
well, he was. I mean, he was beaten.
Bumps.
Yeah, well, that was him.
Yeah.
He wanted to do that, which is why his career was shortened. Imagine if he played it right, he could have had another 10 years.
Yeah, no, seriously. You know, Undertaker gets hurt in this match, bad on his elbow. He gets a really nasty staph infection from.
I saw him when he busted it open.
And it gets worse. And the Undertaker eventually ends up, you know, obviously in the coming days after this, he ends up in the hospital. He was in the hospital for 4 days. Bad staph infection. So,
I mean, these two just brought the absolute best out. Taker was getting his butt kicked during this match.
He was, man. I was like, just get this guy out of here already, man.
Can you not get any offense in on this dude? Yeah. I mean, come on.
Well, the thing is that he remember the storyline. That's where Mankind. That's where he hangs out. Like that's his home. Like so, the Undertaker was on his turf.
How many times they did the vignettes with him and the rats?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
this is great stuff, man.
Like you said at the start when he brought him in, and you see Cactus Jack coming in as Mankind. I'm like, this is gonna like Steve Austin came in as ringmaster. I'm like, okay, these two guys are gonna be on the unemployment line soon with these gimmicks if they go forward. Man, Mick Foley really pulled this out.
Yeah.
And of course, Austin changed his and moved on to his.
Yeah, it was well done, and like you said,
Mick Foley did Mankind tremendously well.
Like you said, it brought out a violent side of the Undertaker that we really had. And
how many times have you seen him really look like he just constantly decking him. I mean, we never saw this from the Undertaker before.
He was more.
It was always the slow. Methodical. Now he's like literally running after him and beating his ass down.
Yeah, this was good stuff. Foley takes a really nasty spill too when they get to the ring. I think he gets knocked off the apron or something, and he hits he
hit his head.
Yeah, bad.
That's him. I mean, that's that crazy fool, man. Like again, without the death matches and him playing it safe and
falls
stuff.
Off the ladder. He falls off the ladder, and
if he doesn't do King of the Ring '98, he's got a few years left after 2000.
Maybe he put himself through hell. But I'll tell you something. I did not expect Paul Bearer to do what he did.
Turn on the Undertaker.
I couldn't believe it.
I had a feeling because if he's holding the urn and the stipulation is, I'm like, how is he's not going to give it to Mankind willingly, or is he? And then I see when you see him the Undertaker kneel down and Paul Bearer is hesitant. I'm like, oh no,
you know that was McMahon's idea to do that the way they did it, and I actually like Bruce Pritchard's idea better. Bruce Pritchard said his idea was that Paul Bearer is holding up the urn. And you think it's going to be like a celebration and Undertaker's going to get it. And he hits Undertaker with an urn. And it's like, oh, my God, he turned on him. But that Vince was like, no, I want it to be like he kind of hesitates. And you think like, what's going on? And you start thinking.
And then Mankind attacked him. You see Paul Bearer laughing.
Yeah, he said that's what. Yeah, I kind of like Bruce Pritchard's idea a little bit better, to be honest with you.
I do, too. That would have made sense.
Yeah,
and
that would have been cool.
Then you hand it to Mankind and he gets the victory. Yep. I do like that outcome a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, this
No,
wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. But when
no.
I heard Bruce Pritchard tell that story, I'm like, that's a better idea.
Well, if we don't get Paul Bearer turning on him, we never find out later. He's
Yeah.
alive, Undertaker.
Kane told me. Yeah. But nah, this was good stuff. Man, I was shocked, man. I was so pissed at Paul Bearer. I was like, could
So many
not.
years that they're together, going on six
Yeah.
years just about.
I couldn't believe it.
And I guess now this is the next chapter, the Undertaker moving on and evolving.
Yeah,
now without Paul Bearer.
I understand it, but I always liked him with Paul Bearer.
I did too.
Yeah.
And then the character starts getting more gothic, more meaner in '97 through '98. So
yeah, so
this is a really good match. Mankind gets the victory once again over the Undertaker. So now we've got a character that's really now established himself in Mankind.
It's like he had his number. There's like always something.
Yeah, I know, man. It was just he couldn't.
It was well done, but it was well done. It was
something that, and by the way, it was almost a half hour. That match it was 26 minutes 40 seconds.
Yeah, between the boiler room and then when the whole thing in the ring.
Yeah. So now we go to a 23-minute match, the main event. It was Shawn Michaels defending the WWE title reluctantly against the man they call Vader.
They had built up Vader as this monster heel, and I thought Vader was over. I like Vader. He was believable as hell.
He was a former champion, so if he in fact got the title, I could buy it.
I like when they show him backstage. He's shadow boxing. It was cool. It was and then we get this match, which was the match is actually good. I think the match is actually good, except
which one? Because we got 3.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying this match is actually a good match. It's just that there's a couple bad hiccups during this match.
And I can see where Shawn got agitated. If you look at it slowly, there were a couple of bumps and hits from Vader that Shawn wasn't thrilled with.
They just weren't.
See the frustration a little bit.
I guess they just weren't clicking, and there was miscommunication. They had worked on some house shows together too, so I'm surprised that there was any problems during this pay-per-view. Apparently, before this, Shawn had threatened to get Vader fired before the match.
I think that came after from the pay-per-view prior in July.
No, I think
Cornette
said it was a house show.
Was that between the two of them?
Yeah.
Because I mean, they worked. If Shawn didn't want this match, I mean, they worked together in your house. So
they had invested all that time and money into Vader. So
because then it was after this that Shawn said absolutely not, because Vader was supposed to beat him at Survivor Series for the belt, and he said I'm not working with him, and that's when they changed it over to Psycho Sid.
Do you see Shawn in this match? This is prime Shawn Michaels. This is him at his athletic prime. Mm-hmm. The guy was tremendous. Say what you want to say about him as a personality back then. But as far as in-ring performer, phenomenal. Exactly. This was like his peak from here to like 98 before he left.
Yeah.
Peak Shawn Michaels, tremendous performer. The match was great. I like the style clash. Although Shawn, I don't know if you remember the beginning of the match, Shawn starts kicking him in the head. Like I'm talking about before the spot gets messed up. Vader's like sitting up. He starts kicking. I'm like, is he kicking him for real?
It looked like it.
It looked like it, right? I was like,
at least one of those kicks looked for real.
Right. I'm like, I've never seen Shawn do this. So
again, the frustration of everything is starting to weigh in on him at this point because he's carrying a company that's failing, and they're all blaming him, which he had no reason to doubt himself that it was his fault. He put on A+ performances every time he went out there, despite who he went up against. Yeah, it was just the way the business was for the company.
But him and Vader didn't, for whatever reason, they didn't click. There's stuff that gets messed up during the match, and then the famous mess up is when Shawn goes to the top rope, and he's gonna do a jumping elbow, and Vader's supposed to move, and Shawn jumps, and Vader just lies there. So then Shawn lands on his feet, and he screams at him, and he says, "Move!" And then he kicks him in the head, and it looked like he legitimately kicked him in the head.
Yeah, he was pissed during this match.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Vader could have killed Shawn Michaels if he wanted to.
Yeah, seriously.
So credit to Vader for being a professional.
Yeah.
But if Vader wanted to, he could have smashed this guy, man. And there's nothing that Shawn could have done. Vader was a big dude.
Vader could have powerbombed him through a table and walked out. And look at Vince and go, "There's your boy."
So this spot is kind of like the story of this is the end of Vader.
Yeah.
That moment right there is pretty much the end of Vader because
I mean, he did get one more shot at being the top guy because then they put him in the feud with the Undertaker, which if you're gonna make or break it in the WWE, you go through the Undertaker. So the Undertaker found something that he went back to Vince and went, no.
He was done after this though because he was supposed to get the title.
I'm even surprised later on that Bret Hart worked with him.
But he was under contract, so somebody had to work with him. The point is that he was getting this super main event push.
Yeah,
and this is pretty much the death of it. But there's another spot. I think it's when so Shawn kicks out of the Vader bomb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shawn kicks out of the Vader. Well, we're jumping all over the place. I'm sorry. I didn't like the whole Vader beats him by count out.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
And then Vader beats him by disqualification because Shawn hits Vader with the tennis racket.
Yeah.
I thought what they should have done, if you were gonna do this is how I would have done it. I would have had Vader win. No, I'm sorry. I would have had Shawn win by count out. That's what I would have done at first. Shawn wins by count out. Cornette's like, that's not a real win. You beat him by count out. Blah, 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 blah. And then they started again. And then Vader wins by DQ. And then same scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would have had Vader win this match. I'm going to tell you why. Because it's like, you know what I thought they were doing as I was watching this? Do you remember the Olympics? This is many years ago. It was the USA team versus Russia. And USA won. And then the Russian coach or somebody is like, no, put more time. There was more time on the clock. And they restarted it. It happened twice. And then eventually the Russians win on a layup. And they win the gold medal. And the U.S. team just walks off the court. And they never even took their silver medals. They refused because they got screwed out of the title. I thought it was going to be something similar to that. And that Shawn beats him twice. They restart. And then Vader wins the title. And then that builds into the next pay-per-view. I didn't understand the whole Gorilla Monsoon restarts it. Why?
I thought this was going to be kind of like they did this similar thing, if you remember, in '95 with Ramon and Jarrett at the Rumble. You know, it goes the same way. There's a count out. There's a DQ. Jarrett keeps getting the match restarted.
And then Jarrett wins, right?
Jarrett wins the title.
But that's what
I thought that's where this was
right,
going.
But that actually
where
would have made
Vader
more sense.
Eventually wins the title.
Right. That would have actually made more sense. I'm like, why did Shawn Michaels ultimately end up winning this match? I don't know. But the whole thing at the end, towards the end of it, I guess it's the third fall, whatever. Shawn kicks out of the Vader bomb, and then Shawn super kicks him. Vader doesn't kick out. He screws up, and Shawn has to move up and get off of him. And the referee's like, he doesn't do the full three, but it was really a 3 count. And then Vince and them are covering it up and saying, "Oh, he got his shoulder up." No, Shawn. If you watch it, Shawn got up. I don't know. Vader fell asleep, forgot. I don't know, but and then he ends up winning the match. How did Shawn win? Shawn won on moonsault.
Vader was going for the Vader bomb again, but then Cornette told him to go to the top
to do the moonsault. Well, you know what made no sense? He didn't have enough space to do it.
No, he didn't because he was set
Shawn
up
was too close.
There was no way that he could jump and hit him.
No, Shawn was too close to the turnbuckle. Shawn had to be further out. So I'm like, I knew what was going to happen right away. I'm like, there's not space to hit it.
No.
So it was botched. But if you
all over the place.
But if you take out those 2 botches, the match is actually good.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then that was the end of Vader because Shawn after this tells I don't want to work with this guy. I don't want to work with him. And that and he had Vince's ear, and lucky they had just brought Sid back. So
because from here he went to Mankind, which also brought the viciousness out of. Well, it was a good match.
No, it was a great match, but
it was in between until Sid ultimately is going to win the title
because it was supposed to be Vader winning at Survivor Series and then losing the title to at the Royal Rumble.
I'm sorry, to Shawn again.
To Shawn at the Royal Rumble. That was what was supposed to happen.
Yeah. And then Brett was supposed to, do their thing and blah blah blah.
But this killed Vader's whole. This was the end of Vader's push. That was it, man. And a shame.
The worst year Vader had in WWE was 1998, where he literally lost.
He was a jobber at that point.
By that point, he was, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
because this guy had such a great career, was such a big badass.
They had built him up.
Yeah,
And then Sean
and
said,
one match ends it all.
Sean said,
"Yep, gave the thumbs down," which is unfortunate.
that was the end. That was the end of Vader. And maybe we'll do a Vader episode too. Now that we got
he's
Ahmed on deck.
Vader was always in my mind.
Yeah. So
everybody's in my mind except Jared.
Yeah. So well,
if it makes sense. We'll do it.
So SummerSlam '96. I thought it was good.
It was better than the last one.
Well, that's not saying much, but
I know.
But unfortunately, Brett is on hiatus at this point, so Brett's not in this SummerSlam. But and then Hall and Nash had just left the year, so this is it starts the transitional period.
Yeah, this was a rough patch.
Yeah, but they got through. They
still pulled it out.
They still pulled it out. Thanks to credit to Shawn and Undertaker and Mankind. You know those guys.
Definitely.
So all right, well that's SummerSlam '96. 97 is next.
Oh, that's a good main event.
Heart and Soul. So you guys make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care, guys.